National Policy on Education 1986. What is this? National Policy on Education (NPE) is a policy formulated by the Government of India to promote education among India's people. তাহলে এখানটা যদি আমি একটু ভালো করে দেখি, তো উদ্দেশ্যটা কি হচ্ছে না, উদ্দেশ্য হচ্ছে টু প্রমোট এডুকেশন ইন ইন্ডিয়াস পিপল। এটা হচ্ছে প্রমোশন, এনপি প্রমোশনের মোটো, এই তো জিনিসটা বলছে। দি পলিসি কভার্স elementary education to colleges in both rural and urban, rural as well as urban. So the policy covers elementary education to colleges in both rural and urban India. The first NP was promulgated. Promulgated means described. Promulgated means described in 1986 by the government of Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, and the second by NP 1986, Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi 1986. Having announced that a new policy was in development in January 1985, having announced that a new policy was in development in January 1985, the government of Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi introduced a new policy. The new policy called for special emphasis or removal of disparities and to equalize educational opportunity. তাহলে এটা কি করা হচ্ছে না, special emphasis on the removal of disparities and to equalize educational opportunity, especially for Indian women, scheduled tribes and the scheduled caste communities. To achieve such a social integration, the policy called for expanding scholarships, adult education, recruiting more teachers from the SCs, incentives for poor families to send their children to school regularly, development of new institutions and providing housing and services. The NP 86 called a child-centered approach in primary education and launched Operation Blackboard to improve primary school nationwide. This policy expanded the Open University system with the IGNOU, which had been created in 1985. The National Policy on Education was modified in 1982 by the P.V. Narasimha Rao government. Salient features of National Policy on Education 1986 as are being described as follows. Education has to play an acculturating role. Acculturant মানে খাপ খাইয়ে নেওয়া, assimilating role as it refines sensitivities and perceptions that contribute to national cohesion, a scientific temper and independence of mind and spirit, thus furthering the goals of socialism, secularism, and democracy enshrined in our constitution. Described in our constitution. Education develops manpower for different levels of national economy. It is also the substrata on which research and development flourish, being the ultimate guarantee of national self-reliance. Education is a unique investment in present and the future for all-round development of nation in all its manifestations. ম্যানিফেস্টেশনস মানে এখানে কর্মকাণ্ড, এখানে ম্যানিফেস্টেশনের প্রকাশ, এক্সপ্রেশন, অভিব্যক্তি, আবির্ভাব, অ্যাপিয়ারেন্স, বিকাশ, ফ্লারিশ, ফুর্তি, এইসব। তো এখানে ম্যানিফেস্টেশনের an event or action or object that clearly shows on expression of the development of nation in all its manifestations, in all its development. In our national perception, education is essential for all as it is fundamental to our all-round development, material and spiritual. The NPE 1986 has lucidly explained. What is the meaning of lucidly explained? Lucidly means swachhabhave, clearly, explicitly, lucidly. The concept of a national system of education implies that up to a given level, all students, irrespective of caste, creed, location or sex, have access to education. Creeds মানে ধর্ম বিশ্বাস, কাস্ট জাতিগত, location or sex have access to education of a comparable quality. To achieve this end, the government will initiate funded programs. Effective measures will be taken in the direction of the common school system recommended recommended in 1986 policy. It envisages, that is, it describes common educational structure, that is 10 plus 2 plus 3, which was recommended by 1964 Kothari Commission. The structure has now been accepted in all parts of the country. Regarding the further breakup of first 10 years efforts, first 10 years efforts will be made to move towards an elementary system comprising 5 years of primary education, 3 years of upper primary, equality of all. Upper primary equality of all will be created through the spectrum of core curriculum. The purpose is to remove prejudices and complexes transmitted through the social environment and the accident by birth. Prejudices, prejudice, কুসংস্কার, prejudice মানে কুসংস্কার, prejudices, কুসংস্কার. This purpose is to remove কুসংস্কার, prejudices and complexes transmitted to the social environment and the accident by birth. Minimum level of learning will be laid down for each stage of education. This will ensure a comparable standard of education for each area of learning in the curriculum. This will serve as a reference in the development of instructional materials, selection of suitable teaching learning strategies, and evaluating learners' progress. It would also help maintain a reasonable standard of education throughout the country. The NPE 1986 states steps will be taken to foster among students and to understanding of diverse cultural and social system of the people living in different parts of the country. To promote this objective, the link language has to be developed, and programs of translating books from one language to another and publishing multilingual dictionaries and glossaries should be implemented. The policy stated the young will be encouraged to undertake the rediscovery of India, each in his own image and perception. Number 4, the NP 1986 recommends that the institution of national importance like UGC, NCERT, NIPA, NIEPA, ICT, ICAR, IMC, etc. will be strengthened to enable them to give shape to national system of education followed by 2 years of high school. The national system of education will be based on a national curricular framework which contains a common core along with other components that are flexible. The common core will include the history of India's freedom movement, the constitutional obligation, and other content essential to nurture national identity. Their elements cut across subject areas and will be designed to promote values such as India's common cultural heritage, egalitarianism. উচ্চারণটা আমি একটুখানি জানতাম egalitarianism, sammo, equality, democracy, secularism, our equality of sexes, protection of the environment, removal of social barriers, observation of small family norm, and inculcation of scientific temper. Inculcation, what is the meaning of inculcation? ইনকালকেট অভ্যন্তরে স্থাপন করা, হ্যাঁ, ইনস্টিল বাই পারসিস্টেন্ট ইনস্ট্রাকশন, অভ্যন্তরে বদ্ধমূল ধারণা করে দেওয়া। ইনকালকেশন, বদ্ধমূল ধারণা অফ সায়েন্টিফিক টেম্পার। ইনকালকেশন, দৃঢ়ভাবে খেতে দেওয়া বলতে পারো, দৃঢ়ভাবে খেতে দেওয়া সায়েন্টিফিক টেম্পার। All educational programs will be carried on in spirit conformity with secular values. The following common schemes of studies has been suggested in the national curriculum framework. Number 1, one language at primary level and 3 languages at the upper primary and secondary level. Number 2, mathematics. Number 3, environmental studies, social science and science, working experience or SUPW, pre-vocational courses, art education and health and physical education. To promote equality, it will be necessary to provide for equal আচ্ছা, তো promote equality, it will be necessary to provide for equal opportunity to all, not only in access, but also in conditions for success. Besides awareness of the inherent and to cope with the emerging demands of the nation, integrated planning will be instituted among all these premier bodies so as to establish functional linkages and reinforce programs of research and postgraduate education. The NP 1986 lays special emphasis on the removal of disparities and to equalize educational opportunity by attending to the specific needs of those who have been deprived so far. The policy states the following: number status of women, empowerment of women, women's studies, removal of women's illiteracy, women's participation in technical and vocational education. Number 6, the main focus in this regard is the equalization of SC's population with the non-SC's population. All stages and levels of education in all areas and in all four dimensions: rural male, rural female, urban male, urban female. The construction of school building will be undertaken in tribal areas on a priority basis under the normal funds for education as well as under the NREP, RLEGP and tribal welfare schemes. The need to devise the curricular and instructional materials in tribal languages at the initial stages. Anganwadis, non-formal and adult education centers will be opened on a priority basis in areas predominantly dominated by ST areas. Suitable incentives will be provided to all educationally backward sections of society living in rural areas. Greater attention will be focused on education of the minorities for promotion of social justice and equality. The policy states that the objective should be to integrate the physically and mentally handicapped with the general community, to prepare them for the normal growth and to enable them to face life with courage and confidence. The highest priority will be given to solve the problems of children dropping out of the school. It will be ensured that all children who attain the age of about 11 years by 1990 will have a 5 of schooling or its equivalent through the non-formal stream. Likewise, by 1995, the highest priority will be given to solve the problem of children dropping out of the school. It will ensure that all children who attain the age of about 11 years by 1990 will have 5 of schooling or its equivalent through the non-formal stream. Likewise, by 1995, all children therefore should be provided free and compulsory education up to 14 years of age, which is called elementary education. Vocationalization has received a top priority in the NP 1986. Vocational education will be a distant stream which intends to prepare children for different occupation across various areas of activity. Vocational courses will be started from class 2 stages. In a culturally pluralistic society, পুরুষবাদী সমাজ, বহুত্ববাদী সমাজ, so education should foster universal social, moral and eternal strive towards the unity, towards the unity and integration of our people. Such value education should help eliminate violence, fatalism, religion, fatalism and fanatism. ফ্যাটালিজম মানে অদৃষ্টবাদ, নিয়বাদ নিয়তির উপর, যে বলে নিয়তির উপর, নিয়তিবাদ। ফ্যাটালিজম, ভায়োলেন্ট সেলফ ফ্যাটালিজম, রিলিজিয়াস ফ্যানাটিজম, ফ্যানাটিসিজম, ধর্মান্ধতা, ফ্যানাটিসিজম and superstition. Value education should lay on profound positive content based on our heritage, nation, goals, and universal. Number 10. The guiding consideration for overhauling the system of planning and management of education will be as follows. ওভারঅল মানে ঢেলেছে কেন, রিকাস্ট, রিসিভ। তা এখানে যে বলছে যে দ্য গাইডেন্স ক্যারেক্টারিস্টিক্স ফর ওভারহলিং the system of planning and management of education will be as follows. Number 1, evolving a long-term planning and management perspective of education and its integration with the country's development and manpower needs. Decentralizations and the creation of a spirit of autonomy for educational institution. The CAB CAP will play a pivotal role in number 1, reviewing educational development, number 2, monitoring implementation. At the state level, state governments may establish state advisory board SAB of education on the lines of CABE, Central Advisory Board of Education, State Advisory SABE. Effective measures should be taken to integrate mechanism and the various states department concerned with the HRD. NP 90 has been emphasized that notwithstanding the complexity of the future shape given our tradition, which has almost always put a high premium on intellectual and spiritual attainment, we are bound to succeed in achieving our objectives. Thank you.